The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Langley. I'm Vice President of Business Development for Lassonde Pappas. I'd like to thank everyone for being here and joining us today for our second industry webinar that we hope you find topical and beneficial to your business. A couple housekeeping notes. Be sure to have your microphones on mute. We'll be muting the listeners, but they are, make sure yours are on mute as well. Questions can be submitted through using the online submittal box. And if you can, use the raise your hand function during our Q&A session. And we can call on you when we see that icon go up on the screen. We have 3 presenters today to cover some topics that we think are top of mind for everybody with the labeling laws. And we also have a sneak peek from Trends and Innovations from a recent trip we made to Europe for Seattle that we'll be following up with at the end of the session, followed by a Q&A. We also encourage everyone to submit any future topics you'd like to see directly to us. We'd love to have some feedback on how we're doing. You can do those directly into the emails on the end through Jamie Bradford or directly through the webinar through the question box. And we'll take those under future consideration. To introduce the panelists today, we have Ian Wallace, who will be covering the Nutrition Facts panel. Carl Jurgensen from Damon, who will be talking about clean labels. And Jamie Bradford, who will be talking about trends and innovation. So, Ian?
Thanks, Scott. And good to be on the line with everyone this afternoon for the second installment of our Lassonde Pappas webinar. I must say, when we started these webinars, I never expected that we'd have to devote so much time to legal and compliance issues. But over the past 18 months, there have been some historic developments that have rocked the industry and seriously affected everyone's private brand business. Between food safety with FSMA, GMO labeling, continued consumer litigation, BPA and Prop 65, soda taxes, and more, the intensity of the regulatory environment just continues to increase. One of the most widespread and costly changes facing the food and beverage industry today is the focus of my presentation, the FDA's new Nutrition Facts Panel labeling rules. Some quick background. The new rules represent the first significant change to the U.S. nutrition labeling framework in more than 20 years, and in fact had been in the works for more than a decade before the Obama administration, and primarily Michelle Obama, made it a priority to implement the new rules as part of the First Lady's Let's Move campaign to combat childhood obesity. The new rules will require new labels for all packaged food products with the exception of certain meat, poultry, and processed egg products that are regulated by the USDA. The administration estimates the label changes will cost the industry $2.3 billion, which seems conservative, but could generate between $20 to $30 billion in savings over the next 20 years in obesity-related health costs, which seems wildly optimistic. So the objective of my time today is to walk you through the more significant changes from the new rules and offer some of our thoughts on their impact so that everyone walks away today better prepared to execute on compliance plans for your private brand items. First and foremost, FDA has revamped the format of the Nutrition Facts Panel. As you can see, it is not a dramatic overhaul. There's no significant change to the size of the labels, and the most visible changes are the increase in the prominence of the calories declaration and the addition of added sugars, which we'll discuss in a moment. There have been updates to the daily values for many nutrients, changes to the nutrients required to be declared, and a new footnote added to better explain the daily value concept to consumers. So let's take a deeper dive into the specifics. Added sugars are now required to be disclosed under the total sugars declaration on the label. Potassium and vitamin D must be included, as FDA's research found that Americans aren't getting enough of these nutrients in their diets. On the flip side, vitamin A and vitamin C are no longer required but can be included voluntarily, as FDA found most people do consume enough of these. Based on research showing that the type of fat is more important than the amount, the calories from fat line will disappear. And finally, other carbohydrates can no longer be declared, as FDA found this line caused consumer confusion and lacked any real public health significance. Probably the most controversial change in the new rules is the addition of added sugars to the nutrition facts panel. The food industry aggressively fought this change, arguing that there is no functional difference between naturally occurring sugars and sugars added to processed foods. 10 grams of sugar in orange juice has the same health effect as 10 grams of high fructose corn syrup in soda, was the rationale, but ultimately FDA ignored those arguments. And so sugars added during the processing of foods, including traditional sugars, syrups, honeys, and even fruit juice concentrates, must be disclosed on the label. An important decision in the FDA's rulemaking that actually went in our favor is their interpretation of added sugars coming from fruit juice concentrates. Essentially, only the sugar that is in excess of what would be found in a 100% juice needs to be declared. So if you have 15 grams of concentrated apple juice added to applesauce, and that concentrate contributes 6 grams of sugar, and the same amount of 100% apple juice would have 1.7 grams, you only need to declare the difference, 4.3 grams, as added sugars. The new rules for dietary fiber also present some tricky issues for the industry. There are now 2 types of fiber that qualify to be labeled as dietary fibers: naturally occurring fiber and synthetic fiber that has been shown to confer physical health benefits. FDA has even provided a list of synthetic fibers that qualify, but has recognized the list is not exhaustive. And so that leaves several popular fiber sources, including soy fiber, pea fiber, and maltodextrin, in limbo because they are not specifically approved as dietary fiber. The method to get those fibers qualified is through a citizen petition to the FDA, and we've already seen 3 such petitions filed by Tate & Lyle, DuPont, and ADM. We'll see how those petitions play out, and FDA has said they plan to issue a public guidance document on dietary fiber, which is greatly needed. But as more time goes by, industry associations have considered requesting relief through an extension of the compliance deadline for this particular issue. Next up is the updated alphabet soup of daily reference values, recommended daily intakes, and reference amounts customarily consumed. A couple key takeaways here. First, for DRVs that are decreasing, such as sodium and total carbs, the same amount of sodium or carbs in the product is now going to appear to be more significant. So for example, a product that used to have 20% of my DRV of sodium will now have 22% of my DRV of sodium, even though the amount of sodium has not been increased. And second, for RDIs that are increasing, such as calcium and vitamin C, certain nutrient content claims being made about those products may no longer be allowed. For example, a good source of calcium claim requires 10 to 19% of the daily value of calcium. So with a 100,000 milligram daily value, you only needed 100 to 190 milligrams to make the claim. Now, with 1,300 milligrams daily value, you'd need between 130 and 247 milligrams. And so a product with 100 milligrams of calcium will no longer qualify as a good source and no longer qualify to make the claim. FDA has recognized this as a problem and plans to address it in separate rulemaking, but there's no clear timetable for those rules, and frankly, it could take years for resolution. So hard decisions will need to be made about whether to remove claims from your products or reformulate in order to keep them on the label. And finally, serving sizes have changed, and dual column labeling is now mandatory for certain items. All containers with less than 200% of the reference amount customarily consumed by consumers must be labeled as a single serving, and so you no longer have the flexibility to choose between labeling 1 or 2 servings. Also, dual column labeling is now required for products between 200 and 300% of the reference amount customarily consumed, meaning you'll need to include nutrition information both on a per serving and a per container basis. It remains to be seen how consumers will react to these changes, especially with the high calorie numbers that will be disclosed on the label. But it is certain that you'll need to be more precise with your nutrient content claims, and will need to specifically reference whether you're making those claims on a per serving or a per container basis. So when do we need to have all of these label changes buttoned up and in compliance? July 26, 2018 is the drop dead date. Products introduced into interstate commerce after that date, meaning products that we ship to our customers after that date, must comply. So if product was shipped prior to that date, it's okay for it to sit on the shelf after July 26th with the old label. FDA won't enforce on those items, but after that time, everything needs to comply. Getting things done early is perfectly acceptable. You could put product on the shelf tomorrow with the new label if you'd like, but it's an all or nothing choice. So you can't pick and choose which aspects of the old and new rules you like and want to use. And keep in mind, physical label changes are the focus of this discussion today, but you'll also want to make sure that your product attributes are being updated for GS1 purposes as well. And we here at LPC are doing our best to make this transition as seamless as possible for you all, and we've mapped out a compliance plan to ensure you can effectively manage this process. First, our regulatory team has attended multiple training sessions and consulted with our outside regulatory counsel on applying the new rules, so that beginning January 1, 2017, all labels that we touch will be mocked up to the new rules. Second, we recommend that you keep things simple in this transition and minimize or avoid reformulations during the process to the extent you can. Attempting to reformulate while moving to the new nutrition facts panel will increase the complexity and the time it takes to get into compliance. Third, now is the time to take a hard look at eliminating underperforming SKUs. If you have an item at risk of being discontinued in the next 6 months, you may not want to invest in making label changes, and that will allow you to reduce the number of SKUs that you're managing and converting to the new label panel. And fourth, adhering to established timelines and milestones is very critical in this effort. So we have 20 months to get everything done, which may sound like a lot of time, but given the sheer volume of items to be addressed, it will surely be a race to the finish, and any delay could put you at risk of missing the deadline. And with that, I will hand it over to Carl for his clean label discussion, and thanks again everyone for the time today.
Thanks, Ian. Consumer desire for cleaner foods and shorter, easier to understand ingredient lists is a global phenomenon. In fact, the rest of the world is already ahead of North America in actioning this trend. Illustrating manufacturers' and retailers' response to consumer preferences is this Mintel GNPD data showing steep global declines in the use of artificial ingredients in both new product launches and reformulations. The clean label trend has set a challenge for manufacturers to produce cleaner but still tasty food. 58% of primary grocery shoppers and 93% of self-identified clean eaters agree that, quote, it is important for items to be clean. 44% of primary shoppers and 29% of clean eaters are willing to accept some level of processing when eating clean. Communicating a brand's specific clean label promise is the realm of free from. In a retail environment, whether in-store or online, free from is a promise that is increasingly seen on product labels. Whether it's gluten-free, allergen-free, dairy-free, hormone-free, free of artificial colors and flavors, or non-GMO, it is a specific promise to the customer that targets consumer attitudes towards certain food properties or ingredients. I want to point out that free from is a subcategory of clean label. Clean label is a holistic concept that is responding to consumers' desire for foods that are simpler, less processed, and closer to their idea of food as nature intended it to be. Free from is a targeted proposition that makes a specific clean label promise. As the undefined term natural becomes more and more of a liability for marketers, free from is emerging as a defined and defensible label claim. It may be fair to say that free from is the new natural. Retailers and brand managers have a wealth of consumer research available to aid them in designing their free-from strategy. Here is but one example from a sampling of survey results over the past 2 years. Methodology and results are often confusing and contradictory, but some clear trends have shown up across the research. First, consumers seem to dislike artificial colors more than artificial flavors, but in general prefer to see all artificial ingredients removed. Consumers want simplicity and clarity. They are avoiding ingredients that they do not understand or that sound too much like a chemical. They want ingredients that they recognize. Avoidance of GMOs is a trend that has been stable for some time. Consumers are changing their attitudes toward fats, looking to avoid trans fats and partially hydrogenated oils, but are now looking for good fats, whether plant, dairy, or animal derived. An important trend for brand managers to also consider is that consumers are increasingly considering the absence of bad ingredients a kind of baseline or price of entry, and are making more buying decisions based on positive attributes like nutrients and fair trade. Reduced fat, no preservatives, or lower carbs were never mouth-watering propositions. But for years, a key driver of purchase intent for wellness-aware consumers was framed in the negative, what isn't in a particular food. Today, consumers crave the positive. The new emphasis is on naturally nutritious superfoods, seafoods, sprouted grains, and probiotic foods. Packaging highlights the positives loudly and clearly. Retail messaging places greater emphasis on the end benefits like stress busting, deep rest, even happiness itself. A more expansive approach even includes the social and global benefits from cleaner ingredient lists, such as reduced impact on the environment, ethically sourced foods, or humanely treated animals. Today, the consumer mindset has completely flipped. Now it's about what's in food. What are some of the positives that attract today's wellness-engaged consumer? Here are some examples of products that shout their attributes loud and clear. of umami. Enhances flavor without adding salt or sugar. Umami, a savory taste, is one of the 5 basic tastes, together with sweet, sour, bitter, and salty. Naturally occurring umami-generating compounds can be found in a large array of foods, including tomatoes, soy sauce, edible seaweed, mushrooms, Parmesan cheese, cured meats, fish, and many others. Umaminess can also be created during cooking and manufacturing processes, such as roasting, fermenting, caramelizing, and maturing. Umami is trending. Google searches for umami increased 300% from January 2005 to January 2015. Damon is working with Israeli supplier Salt of the Earth and its Umamix sea salt and umami extract seasoning that enables up to 45% sodium reduction in a wide variety of foods. The Umami burger chain has grown from 1 restaurant in 2009 to 25 today, with plans for more globally. The unique touches to the low-sodium burger are their signature umami dust and special sauce, which contain umami-rich ingredients, including kombu seaweed, shiitake mushroom powder, anchovies, soy sauce, and Marmite. Kokumi is a newer flavor concept, often linked with umami. It is the combined sensation of continuity, mouthfulness, and thickness. Kokumi is yet another example of culinary innovation, elevating the eating experiences of foods with reduced sugar and salt. The Chot yogurt brand is building on the savory yogurt culinary trend and is leveraging Kokumi to add new textures to a clean label product. Based on the Indian snack appetizer called Chot, this yogurt contains puffed grains, spices, and plant proteins in the form of lentils. Chot is an example of a brand that is leveraging many current trends: local, grass-fed, hormone-free, digestive health, gluten-free, plant-based protein, low glycemic, grab-and-go, and non-GMO. What's not to like? A final point about clean label before the next section. The healthification of fast food is another expression of the clean label trend. McDonald's is testing a new format called McDonald's Next in Hong Kong that features a salad bar, quinoa bowls, and contemporary ambiance. At an event on August 1st of this year at its headquarters in Oak Brook, Illinois, McDonald's announced several changes to its ingredients, including eliminating artificial preservatives from some breakfast foods and chicken McNuggets, its most popular food item, and removing high fructose corn syrup from its buns. Also, McDonald's is switching from margarine to butter in its bun recipe. Panera Bread announced a major cleanup of its ingredient list and posted a free from list in its restaurants and online. Chick-fil-A is adding superfoods like kale and broccolini to its menu in partnership with Atlanta-based chef Ford Fry of Ford Fry restaurants. Subway is promising that its meat suppliers gradually will go antibiotic-free and recently announced that it will drop artificial ingredients by 2017. Next, I'd like to turn the mic over to Jamie Bradford, who will talk about trends and innovation.
Thank you very much, Carl. Again, I'm Jamie Bradford. I'm the Director of Innovation, Product Innovation and Packaging at Lassonde Pappas. I am very excited to be discussing with you trends and innovations recently seen at Seattle Food and Beverage Show, as well as some discoveries found at Parisian markets and traditional grocery stores. There is one thing for sure. What we are seeing in the States is very consistent across the world. As our lives continue to get busier, we are all looking for products that enhance your life, provide personal well-being, and are just overall convenient solutions. Seeking out ingredients that are superfoods, provide functional properties, are all on the rise across the world. Flavors that provide more complexity, more uniqueness, and more novel experiences, also on the rise. We also are going to walk through some new packaging and beverage innovations seen at the show and around Paris that we believe will help be instrumental in new product launches for the next few years. So packaging evolves. Premiumization, pouches, cap and can enhancements, and eco-responsible were top of mind with food and beverage. Premium continues to be a priority for many, coming up with sleeker glass bottles with standout enhancements like the rose diamond bottle, that when you actually take off the exterior sleeve, the paper ends up blossoming out like a rose petal, really providing a premium, unique experience for a unique botanical beverage. Pouches continue to evolve, from mocktails to cocktails to fruit purees. Multi-serve pouches with an easy-to-handle, spouted flip cap were evident for the food service industry at the show. Convenient, single-serve, squeezable pouch innovations included a no-mess, easy squeezable pouch for beverages and purees for the ultimate on-the-go consumer, as well as single-serve squeezable pouches for more of the bar scene, providing an alcoholic solution with energy as well as some other functional attributes, not found in a traditional glass at the bar, but in a squeezable pouch. Cap technology continues to evolve, with a company in Hong Kong creating the whisk cap. You shake it, drink it, and get fresh matcha coming out from the whisk cap. We also are catering to consumers looking to drink their beverage throughout the day or reuse the can for eco-friendly reasons. The Keep can created a resealable can. So based on what your preferences are, how quick you can, or not how quick you can drink your beverage, as well as just, having an eco-friendly option, this resealable can is provided. Other notable eco-responsible and convenient packaging solutions included a paperboard coffee as well as juice cup solution with either a straw or sip top. This showed up at the show as well as many Parisian markets. And lastly, a package that stands out on shelf, conveying healthy convenience. It's shaped and colored to be an apple and has a solution to be a healthy snack and as well as healthy desserts called Eat and Go Pots. Convenience in beverage evolves as more products give you what you seek from wake up to good night. At the show and in the Parisian markets, this beverage phenomena was clear. Beverage solutions that support the always on, providing personal well-being solutions, from active to energy to focus to relax mode, from beauty to anti-aging, from sport to shaping to overall health, to even love. Anything a consumer could desire to get out of beverage was being displayed. Every day part was captured. It's a great way to position or renovate an existing beverage. Even with breakfast drinks, to snack drinks, to dessert drinks, to goodnight drinks. Seems like every consumer has a need, and there is a beverage solution for every single one of them. From a flavor and ingredient perspective, everything was about providing more, and it was a distinct trend. Botanicals, herbs, traditional and more unique fruits, and seeds were definitely throughout the entire show. A lot of superfood inclusions and call-outs on food and beverages was apparent. Functional ingredients and what they can do to the consumer to fulfill those need states was all over the board. Most notable was tamarind, melon, coconut, rhubarb, baobab, sea buckthorn, collagen, banana, avocado, coffee, aloe vera, to name a few. Other notable included basil seeds, dates, hibiscus, goldenberry, goji berry, mandarin argent, elderflower, and soursop, and the list continues. All of these were in multiple beverages at the show and around Paris. Beverage segments continue to evolve, with health, hybridization, and unique experiences at the forefront. Adding a bubbly experience to traditional coffee was definitely a sensory explosion. Sparkling juices with unique fruits and botanical base was on the rise. Herb-inspired juices like sage juice and basil juice. Basil seeds and chia seeds combined with various traditional and more exotic juices. Health and functional-based drinks providing need state solutions for consumers, many with collagen callouts. Drinkable snacks and meal solutions was apparent. From drinkable yogurts to drinkable oats, fruit smoothies to drinkable soups. There was even more very targeted drinks for pregnant women, as well as some alternative waters, mainly coconut and birch water with various fruits and vegetables. Hopefully this gives everyone on the phone a snapshot on the trends and innovations going across the globe. It was a great show to attend, and as we continue to attend events like this, we'll make sure that they're added to future webinars. I'm now going to speak briefly about Lassonde Pappas' 2016 innovation that we will be displaying at the upcoming PLMA show. We really hope to see everyone at PLMA this year, so you can have your own chance to explore and taste new product platforms from Lassonde Pappas that hopefully brings excitement to your brand and your shopper. We will be bringing innovative items in shelf stable that provide shoppers with positive, healthy hydration, unique flavor combinations, Hispanic influences, eco-friendly options, as well as brands that consumers desire and have high brand awareness. We are also very excited to be bringing a few fast and growing chilled options to the show. Organic drinkable soups, brand new segment really starting to hit into the natural and specialty channels and brought up at the show. Premium value multi-serve smoothies, as well as ready-to-drink iced coffee beverages. We really hope everybody can come to the show and check out and taste all of these great product platforms we'll be bringing. If not, please call your sales representative. We would love to chat more and talk about these samples in greater detail. We're extremely excited about these, and we hope you are too. Lastly, we're going to open this up to the Q&A session. So please feel free to ask any questions at this time.
Stacey, do you have anything that was submitted online during the webinar? Does anybody want to raise their hand and ask any questions at this time? Well, what you guys think about for a second, the one thing Jamie and I noticed while we were in Paris, the one thing that stood out to me, and Carl, in your global travels, I don't know if you've seen it as well, but we've noticed the always on and the trending globally, what we think of as Americans or North American trends are truly global trends, is what really stood out to me in the travels that we had and what we saw. And we think, you know, top line, a lot of it's always on, and people are all sharing that. Carl, your thoughts?
seen the exact same thing. Oftentimes we think of the trends that we're seeing here in North America as being unique to North America. In many cases, the rest of the world's ahead of us on a lot of these trends, particularly the idea of commuter food, making vending options available in transit hubs. We saw that first in London, actually, not in New York, where maybe you would expect it to see first. So I think whenever we're thinking about these kinds of trends, we shouldn't just think about North America. We really need to think globally.
That's a very good point. So is there anything else anybody would like to add around the table? Jamie, any closing thoughts? Ian, anything you'd like to add?
I think just closing thoughts on the nutrition facts panel changes. Just want to kind of clearly send the message out to our customer community that we are here to help. We are actually added resources that are solely dedicated to get everyone's own brand products in compliance by the drop dead date. And so please do not hesitate to contact us, reach out with questions you may have, discuss kind of mapping out the timeline for getting your items ready to go, and we're here to help.
Thank you, Ian. And yeah, we can't emphasize that enough, is that we're here to help, and we're here to move this process along as quickly as we can. And so anything that anybody needs in that aspect, please feel free to reach out to your salespeople. They'll be glad to connect us. So closing, I was just sending a question direct. Yeah, so we've sent out some to our sales team that they're working on timetables for each of the channels to kind of orderly fashion this transition for the new labeling requirements. So everybody, we've kind of tried to set it up somewhat in a timing, but we also are very aware of our retailers' timing. We're flexible enough to be able to work with that, but we're trying to do it. We have how many hundreds of 1,200, 1,400 labels?
I think last we counted about over 1,500 labels that we're going. So it's a pretty, and that's small potatoes compared to our customers who are managing all grocery items as opposed to just beverages and juices.
So we stand ready and able to push that through for you guys as you need it. So please reach out to your salespeople, and much communication as possible is the best thing that we can do throughout this two-way street, and we're here to support our retailers. So thanks again. Appreciate everybody. Look forward to our next topics, and anybody, like we said in the opening, if you have any topics you'd like addressed, please feel free to email direct or send in comments the webinar. The content of this webinar will be available on our website tomorrow, and where you guys can go in and take a look at it. So thanks again. Appreciate your time.